Hey, everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you for another Kagurabachi Manga chapter review. This is going to be Kagurabachi Manga chapter 44 titled The Curtain Falls. So, let's get into it. So, at the very beginning, when we get the title, it's this pretty nice color art of Chihiro, Mitsusabi, and Hakari all just on top of each other. It looked pretty cool. I'll put that in the thumbnail. It looks really nice, and we get the official colors. Although we knew Mr. Sabi, he was blonde. We didn't know he had black eyes. He has black eyes. Hakri has blue eyes with like whitish hair. Jahito is well black hair with red eyes, which looks really cool. So the beginning of the chapter starts off right where we left off. Hakuri's dad has finally died, and he let go of the Sunichi. And we found out his. I don't know if we knew his name before, but last chapter they said his name. I forgot to brought it up, but his name was Cairo Samasi. Kyora. That was his real name. So he's finally dead. Mr. Sabi's looking at Hakuri, looking at his dad's body. He was probably happy that his dad died after everything that happened. But it's still his dad. So he probably is feeling a little bit sad in some type of way. And as soon as that happens, they specifically say that Akame, the girl with the flame bone, real name is Akame, but I just call her Akame. The girl with the flame bone, she's going on a rampage. That's number one. And number two, after all the damage that happened to this building with Chihito fighting, the Sunichi fighting, Hagri fighting, Mr. Sabi fighting, and Flame Bone Girl fighting, this whole place is starting to collapse. And she's going on a rampage too, so that's not really helping anything. So this whole place is starting to collapse. So they need to hurry up and get out of here. All the random riffraff bad guys all around here, they're trying to jump. They're trying to jump Chihito because, well, he's Chihito, and because he's right next to the Sunixi, so a ton of them starts to bum rush him. So Mesasabi grabs Hakri, teleports over to Chihito, grabs him, and he teleports out of there. And when he teleports out of there, Chihito grabs the Sunixi, but then when he goes outside, it's only him and Hakari. Mesasabi's like, what the heck? Where's Chihito? I was whole hand around him. Why isn't he with us? In the next panel, we get to see Akame. She's stepping on the Sunichi, and Chihito is stuck with her. So at first I was like, if she's just stepping on the sword, why would that negate his power or Mr. Sabi's power to teleport? I sort of just teleport them out, even if she is stepping on the sword, which is so confusing. But then the very next panel, we get to see that fat E Honda guy that's always with her, like her best friend, I guess. He used that I forgot what the technique name is, but his technique, he can make like a sumo ring, and the only way to get out of it if he deactivates it or if someone gets knocked out. So yeah, he makes a sumo ring to like trap Chihito in, and he had to make that pretty quickly. Like he had to make that quickly because Mr. Sabi was already, he had his whole arm around Chihito, and he already teleported out. So he made that thing quick. I mean, that was pretty good. How fast he made that thing. So he's stuck inside of the sumo ring with them, and he's already pretty beat up, so he can't really fight right now. And Akame says that she's sorry, but I already told you I want to take both swords back to the Kamawari. So we cut back outside, and the whole building fully collapses. There's nothing, just rubble and wood now. Obviously they said this multiple times, but the oxen is dead. So is the Samasi clan. Well, not the whole Samasi clan, but the whole Samasi clan doing the whole oxen for people and stuff. That's dead. Next panel, we get to see Akame, the sumo guy, E Honda, and Chihiro on E Honda's back walking out. And uh, Akame has the Sonichi all wrapped up, and they let Chihito down, and they're walking past them. Oh, the Mr. Sabi's like, "Oh, hold up, player! You got the Sonichi. We're not letting you walk away with that." But Akame says that, "Hey, me and the boy, we made a deal," and the Sabi's like, "That's true." Chihito nods and says, "Yes." He goes, "Okay." No objection. You made the deal. Like obviously, Chihito's main purpose in life right now to get the swords, and if he made a deal with that, it must be a pretty good deal. So you let it out. After that, we get a pretty nice conversation between Chihito and Hakari. At first, Chihito asks what is Hakari gonna do now that the auction is over, and he tells Hakari not to worry about his family. We get a flashback, and I was wondering if Mr. Sabi killed those toe members he was fighting on that, because when Chihito and Hakari went to the main stage to fight against Hakari's dad, Mr. Sabi got left behind to fight the last two toe members, and then he just popped up out of nowhere without saying anything. So I'm like, oh, I guess he beat them or killed them or whatever. We get a flashback panel to where he does beat them, and they wanted him to kill him. I mean, the Toe members wanted Mr. Sabi to kill them, but Mr. Sabi tells them no. That would be a waste. He wants them to go back to the Samiji clan base and to raise the young in a better way, so that I forgot his name, but it was the brother that used that experimental it wasn't a drug, but it was that weapon that like pumped him full of spirit energy. But remember, it just ripped his body apart. If you raise the young so they won't be like that, twisted by the Samasi's ways, then his death won't be in vain. Raise them better than you guys were raised. Which I thought was really good and sweet. This will be some older people though besides them, right? I'm guessing because we don't see Sora, he died. I mean, I know Chihito did a pretty good like slash attack on his back, but they never said like, "Oh, he's dead." They never said that outright. So I guess he died. Plus, the building is collapsed. So unless those other two top members grabbed him and dipped, he might be dead because the whole building just collapsed. So it's like 50-50 unless he just shows up later on. So who knows? But that's what's going on with those two top members. Then Hakari says that he would want to stay with Chihito to prove his worth. And he was thinking back to when Chihito made that trade offer to give him the intent to trade Hakuri's life. And then Mr. Inazuma, he gets reunited with his big sister. Yeah, we don't see her face, but I'm pretty sure that's the girl that we just over and over and over again. Whenever we put inside the storehouse, it was so that one girl, and she looked scared. And I'm guessing that's Inazuma's sister, right? Because we just keep focusing on her, and she had like no speaking lines, and we see obviously him crying and he hugs her, but we don't see her face. So I'm pretty sure that's her hair, I think. And Hakari has to think back to or no, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Shahito starts to think about Hakari, how he was somewhat in the same situation as he was when he lost his father and just about everything. Hakari starts to think about the ice girl from way back in the day before he left the Samaji clan and how she died and how she said, um, well, let me read it word for word. What's she said, even outside of this cage, there's no hope. And then Hakari starts to think about his brother that just died and Haki started to think about hope. He says, Chihiro, will you let me keep fighting with you? I want to keep proving the value you saw in me. For over 2 centuries, countless lives were assigned prices, and those people's hope was stolen by the Rakaziki. That was the ox's name. The stew that stirred the passion of value low lives. Finally, after all these years, right here and now, the curtain falls. And we just get an outward shot of the whole Rakaziki just crumbled down to the ground, which was really nice. I really like that. I really like what he said there too. So I guess he's part of the crew now. Okay, we got Mr. Sabi, Hakari, Chihito. I don't think that other girl can do anything that with the Chun-Li buns that was looking at the other little girl, Char. I don't think she can fight. Well, maybe she can. We just haven't seen it. But okay, we got the main three, the big three. Okay, not bad. Not a bad crew. And when he said for over 2 centuries, my jaw dropped when I was reading this. That was how I was doing a reaction because I thought we knew that, Hawkery dad had been doing this for years since he was younger. We knew his grandpa was doing it for years before, even Hawkery's dad was born. I didn't know it was like over 2 centuries. I knew it had to be a couple 100 years maybe, but centuries? My goodness, that really sucks. Anyway, we get a flashback to the conversation that Chihiro had with Akame. So obviously Chihiro doesn't want to give her the Tunichi, but Akame wants it. But Chihiro mentions that his main purpose is to get all the swords and lock them up. But he never knew the extent of the power of the Tunichi because his dad never talked about it. And he saw just a fraction of it today. And he's thinking about when all those like flowers and stuff started popping up on everybody's bodies and killing them. He said it was terrifying. So no wonder my dad wanted to lock all these up. He understands that these need to be locked up, especially the Tunichi, that special seal. Obviously, he doesn't know how to make that seal. The one that made the original seal in the first place was the Kamabari. Those 3 people, and they're still alive. So he would like for them to make the seal again. The problem is the leader of that group that killed his dad. Remember, we saw the leader. He knew that the Kamabari was going to bid on it. So he wants the Kamabari to have it in their possession. So whenever that happens, he is going to make his next move We can't let that happen because he's going to be dangerous. So obviously the comments like, so what? We need to make the seal, so we need to get it. But if the other guy, but when, as soon as we get it, the other guy's gonna make his move and do who knows what. So what's your proposing? So Shihito gives her, Shihito gives her the Tsunixi, but he wants to join the Kamabari. That way, they get both of the enchanted blades. Technically, obviously, Shihito's still using it himself, but they have it in their possession, and they have the Tsunixi. Shihito can be with her and be with the Tsunixi too, and they can set up some sort of game plan to try to be one step ahead of the leader of that group that killed Shihito's dad. I gotta figure out how to say the name. It's also with an H, I know that, but the way they say it, I gotta figure out how to say it properly. But they can like since they know they're gonna make a move once we have it, we can like be one step ahead and make some sort of game plan. So Hito is going to join the Kamabari, which is kind of wild. And I think he was gonna say that. I mean, I guess two birds with one stone, but that's kind of wild too. He also thinks about the owner of the Sunichi. Although we can't let him get it back either. So is he just gonna be on like a solo mission like Luffy was when the time skip happened? Is he just gonna be on a solo mission going to the Kamabari, or is he gonna have an invitation for Haku and Mrs. Sabi to come too, which would be a lot more help? So I will assume so, unless they say no. But I don't know. Honestly, that really surprised me where this is going. The last chapter I was saying, unless some sort of new threat happens, the only thing that could really happen is Mr. Sabi grabbing them both, teleporting out of there, and dip. And yeah, they didn't do that, but obviously some other stuff happened along the way. But that was basically the main point of what was happening. And my other theory that probably isn't coming true, I was saying that Haikari will probably become the new leader of the Samacy and raise them right so they can become good. Well, I guess that is happening. They're going to become good now. But Haikari taking over, no. But in the future, if they do need a lot of manpower, they could go back to the Samasu clan to get all that manpower because Mr. Sabi spared their lives. So that could still somewhat happen in my theory. But the whole Hagrid taking over, probably not. Maybe like at the end of the series, maybe who knows. But yeah, that's the chapter. Not bad. I really like the way it's interesting the way it's going. Chihito was in the most recently Weekly Sonic Jump cover of all the main characters up there, and 'cause it was the final chapter for My Hero, and all the main characters up there, and Luffy like pushing Deku Elson at the final chapter, but Chihito was in the background because like I said, it's all the main characters, and the outfit he had, like everybody had out on like street clothes. Chihito's outfit was looking dope. I was like Chihito looked like I was looking for him. I was like zooming in, like trying to look for him. He wasn't like the biggest character, but he was pretty dope. I really liked the way he looked. But yeah, that's the chapter. So, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching. I think all of that would be a wonderful human beings, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. All right.